Hey guys, I thought this was interesting and sort of funny. Um, Raygun, she's the Australian person who couldn't breakdance. Um, I had seen a post where she had said she had only trained for 27 minutes, and she was laughing at everyone else because she was the most popular one out of the Olympics, and she's like, haha, I'm famous now, for only working out for 37 minutes and I got in the Olympics. But now, breaking news is that the academics are actually going against her and saying like, how the hell was she allowed to go in the Olympics? And they're apologizing for her, and I think they're gonna try to go after her type of thing. So yeah, this is interesting. So here we go.
A petition launched online calling for breakdancer Rachel Gunn, better known as Raygun, as well as Australia's Olympic committees and emirs to publicly apologise for Raygun's awful Olympic performance, and also they want an investigation into how and why she made it onto the Olympic team. Joining me now is Adam B. Coleman, founder of Wrong Speak Publishing, and also an avid breakdancing fan. Now, you have written about this issue, you know your stuff, and you've insisted that the academic class are defending Raygun's performance because she's a symbol of their bubble world. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, the bubble world of academia, what often happens is they try to cover for each other. And they see that she has a status of having a PhD in some form of dance culture. And so for them, they'll do anything to cover for them. They'll applaud her for her efforts when the Olympics is not about giving it your best effort. It's about winning. It's about the best of the best. There's meritocracy involved. And from what I can tell, there's a level of, it doesn't feel like meritocracy looking at the qualifiers that led for her to end up there. I was just watching it just before we started filming, and clearly the person she was going up against was better in those last three rounds. And it doesn't make any sense to me objectively as to why she was chosen over someone who is literally half her age, more skilled, has more athleticism than her. For one particular round, Rachel didn't even get off the ground. She was physically doing floor work. She didn't do anything acrobatic, nothing whatsoever. She wasn't nearly as creative. I will say her qualifying wasn't nearly as bad as her Olympic performance, but that's not a very high bar.
Well, yeah, there is a sense of entitlement, it seems. And I don't know if that is because of her academic background, but you did write that she can't PhD her way into being supremely athletic. And you also note that internationally, breakdancing or breaking is highly competitive, it's athletic, it's creative. People have to have enormous skill. So again, how did she qualify? You said you've looked at some of those qualifiers where her opponents seem to be better. Is it so subjective that, these sort of results can happen? Or would most people who are into their breakdancing watching that competition or agree with you that her competitor should have made the team?
I think anyone who is apparently not a judge of that competition would come away with the same conclusion as me, that Raygun was not better than Holy Molly, who she was competing against. Objectively speaking, Holy Molly is quicker, she is younger, and she's more acrobatic than Raygun is. And if I can put this in a very layman's way, someone who is just getting into breakdancing can only do certain moves, the easier moves. Raygun looks like she's basically an amateur, whereas Holy Molly looks like she is someone, young, but clearly more naturally talented than Raygun is. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know if there's some sort of collusion or any corruption behind the scenes or anything like that. But I'm still dumbfounded by what I just watched.
Well, I'm not suggesting there's been anything corrupt, just perhaps some bizarre decisions made along the way. Now, we've learned that Raygun is coached by her husband, who is also a breaker. I think we've got some footage of his moves. I think he's had a bit to do with some of the choreography we saw in Paris. What do you think of his dance moves? Could this be the problem? Does she need a better coach, perhaps?
Not necessarily that. There are moves that she is capable of doing, but there are certain things that you just clearly can and cannot do. Not every person who wants to be a gymnast can be a gymnast. There's a certain amount of strength you have to have. There's a certain amount of skill that you have to have that is natural, or you have to put an abundance amount of time to overcome where you lack. I just don't think by her age to do the type of things that she's doing, she's basically at a geriatric stage of any breakdancer. And most of them last basically into their mid-30s, competing wise. And maybe the top ones, especially the males, they can go a little bit longer. But for her to go as far as she did with her skill level or lack of skill is truly amazing to see.
Well, we are getting a lot of pressure here from the media, from members of the sporting fraternity saying that you cannot be critical of her or her performance because she gave it a red hot go. But you wrote in your piece that people are mocking her because of her audacity to believe that she deserves to be considered one of the best female dancers in the world. And her performance was astoundingly bad. Again, I'm quoting you there. Do we have participation trophies at Olympic level? Is this what we're basically talking about? We're saying, well, she's older than the other dancers. She's perhaps not as experienced in actual dancing. She might be experienced in writing academic papers about dancing. Is this a participation trophy at Olympic level?
Yeah, and part of me thinks this is a little bit of licking the wounds for Australia, because it is embarrassing to see. So I think the reaction is to say, well, at least she gave it a go. Listen, Australia is not known for its breakdancing. You hear those type of excuses, but the reality is we wouldn't do this for any other sport, especially an Olympic sport. We wouldn't make these type of excuses. The reality is that she's not nearly as good as her competition. And listen, when it comes to the Olympics or any sporting event, someone's going to come in last place. So it's not about her coming into last place, but it's what she did and how she represented herself and her capabilities while competing. And like I was saying before, her qualifying rounds, to make it into the Olympics was actually better than what she performed at the Olympics. So, and I don't even think it was nerves. I think she was trying to be overly creative because she knew she's not as skilled as the other dancers. But by trying to be so creative without the skill makes you look very goofy in breakdancing. It just completely falls apart. There's creativity is very important in breakdancing, but you have to follow it up with something else.
I think that's the word, Adam, goofy. I think goofy sums it up beautifully. Adam B. Coleman, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Yeah, but I feel like what he could have said was, like, she wasn't even breakdancing. It was like a 3-year-old jumping around compared to Olympic athletes doing backflips and one hand handstands and stuff like that. Like, what she was doing was hopping around like a little 3-year-old compared to professional athletes, and it was kind of like making fun of the whole thing. And I did see one of her posts where she said, like, I only trained for 37 minutes for the Olympics. Well, you're making a mockery of the whole thing. You don't care about it. You should have never competed. You should be disqualified and you should be kicked out of the Olympics. It's like any other sport, showing up to track and field and having rollerblades. You know what I mean? If you did that, you would be disqualified. Like, you have to do like specifically what is demanded of you. In this event, it was breakdancing. She was not breakdancing. She was jumping around and spinning around or humping the ground, or she wasn't doing anything at all. So that's why everyone is pissed off, and it's like you're making a mockery of it. I feel like this guy could have said that in a better way, but yeah, it just pisses me off that, like, how are you allowed to compete, and there's thousands of people that wanted to be in your place, that could have done a better job, that would have taken it more seriously, and you're there jumping around like a rabbit, like a kangaroo, and laughing about it after, and the judges all gave her 0. Like, I've never heard of that in the Olympics. 0? Is that even like a thing? It is now, but anyways, I thought this was interesting. Hope you guys liked it. Peace.